Patrick Dushaun Beverly, the master baiter. This man is freaking ridiculous. He has a Ph.D. and the D stands for Delusional. That's crazy. If you've been living under a rock recently, which I guess is not a bad thing, then you probably didn't see the recent beef between Pat Bev and no other than ice cold Trae Young. Let me break it down for you. It was a beautiful Monday on Twitter and Herald asked a simple question, and I quote, "Honest question, why do NBA players play so hard in random open gyms in the summer, but give no effort in the All-Star game with millions watching?" To which Patrick Dushaun Beverly said, "Because All-Stars take the game for granted. Not one All-Star on the court. Good bump." And to be honest, that ain't that bad. And yes, Patrick Beverly was right. In the clip, there were no all-stars. Just some G-Leaguers, some college hoopers, and some NBA role players having a good workout. And then ice-cold MFing Trae Young responded, "Relax, let us speak for ourselves." Us as in all-star. And mind you, that is all this man said. Bro just said relax and let us speak for ourselves. No hate, no flagrant fouls, just basically saying, Pat Bev, calm down. And you know exactly what happened. Pat Bev did not calm down and all hell broke loose, Patrick Beverly style. This man went ham on Trae Young and basically called him trash. Damn. Listen to this shit.
I don't know. I don't think he's in a position to speak.
Why is that?
I don't think he's one enough to even speak to me like that or tweet me like that. Like, he's been to the playoffs 3 times.
Okay.
Right? I've been to the playoffs 9.
9 is more than 3.
He's been in the NBA 7 years.
Right.
My first 7 years, I didn't miss the playoffs at all.
Interesting.
In the Western Conference. His rebuttal is probably going to be, yeah, you want the main player in the team. You're absolutely right. But this is why it's a team.
5 players out there.
Right. So that's why it's a team. In order for him to make 9, he would have to be in year 13. Knock on wood, nothing injury happens consecutively just to tie me of making the playoffs 9 times. I think I've only missed the playoffs 1 time in my career. Ironically, it's with the team that I'm from, Chicago Bulls.
Well, damn, Pat Bev. Trae Young be like, what the hell you cooking me for? So let me get this straight. This man, Patrick Dushaun Beverly, ain't even talking about how many finals you won or how many rings you won. We're talking about playoff appearances. Playoff appearances. That don't even make sense. The game is long gone, brother, if we argue over playoff appearances rather than rings or even conference finals. That's crazy. And since Pat Bev made the playoffs 9 times, let's analyze it for a second. So Pat Bev went to the playoffs 9 times. Cool. Well, let's see how many great legends of the game made the playoffs less than 9 times. Allen Iverson, Grant Hill, Ben Wallace all made the playoffs 8 times. So Patrick Dushaun Beverly, are you trying to say that your opinion is much better than Allen Iverson and Grant Hill? This man is delusional. And the fact that this man thinks he contributed to an actual winning basketball in 9 playoff years is crazy. Let's look this man up on Basketball Reference. For starters, if you don't know anything about basketball, if you make the playoffs, 1 series of a playoff consists of a maximum of 7 games. That means if you play less than 7 games, there's a high chance that you might be out the league. And if we look at Patrick Beverly for a second, 6 games, 6 games, 5 games, 11 games, 6 games, 8 games, 17, 6. This man basically went out in the first round almost every single time. This man was losing in the first round. That's crazy. You know what? Let's ask ChatGPT, how many times did Patrick Beverly lose in the playoffs? This man lost in the first round in 5 out of 9 times? How is that even winning basketball? That's crazy. That's crazy work. On the other hand, Trae Young has been to the playoffs 3 times and has been in the league for 7 years. That ain't even that long. And the first time he made the playoffs, he went to the conference final at age 22. This man was 22 years old. What were you doing at 22 years old? Probably gooning. Now, to be fair, Trae Young also lost in the first round the next 2 seasons, but Trae had a much bigger impact on his team in 3 playoff series, better than Patrick Beverly's 9. In his first ever playoff series, this man averaged 28 points. Patrick Beverly averaged 7 points. That's crazy. So let's see what Trae had to say.
We naming facts. You said it. You went to the playoffs 9 times. I've only been to the playoffs 3. You right. You have 6 more playoff appearances than me. Let's bring up some more facts. You've been to 1 conference finals. I've been to 1 conference finals. What year was that for you? Just another fact, year 9. The year I made it was year 3. Just a fact. You want to know another one? You averaged 7 points and 2 assists. I don't even know why I'm doing this.
Nah, hell nah. Damn, Trae, that's crazy. You're cooking this nigga up, bruh. And this man had a negative box plus minus every time he was in the game. That's crazy.
You play with some big time players, my guy. You talk about winning and impact winning. You've been on some teams with some big time players. How about I go through a list of these guys? LeBron, Giannis, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Ant-Man, Cat. And we're not even gonna talk about how we celebrate play-in wins. I win play-in games on the road, and I'm ready to get to the playoffs. You win play-in games at home, and you standing on the scores table acting like it's a championship. We celebrate wins different too. But let me get back to these guys. You've had some great teammates over these years that you've only been able to make the conference finals with because your impact was that strong. One time, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Sweet Lemon Pepper Lou, and Dwight Howard. I can go on and on. Them is just the Hall of Famers that I could just pop on the list right now. Let's not name some of the guys that I know may have listened to you when they was around you, but the way they act is not the way you act. Even from the young guys who are gonna be future Hall of Famers. A guy who just won MVP, a guy who just won a championship. I know he looked up to you as a rookie, but you saw what happened when he left. But we don't even need to get into that.
So basically what Trae is trying to say is that you made the playoffs 9 times with those great players. Like, of course, nigga, water is wet. 1 + 1 is 2. You are supposed to make the playoffs with Bron and Harden. That's crazy. Like, damn. But of course, Patrick Beverley, the master beta, had to respond again.
Now, if any other all-star would have said something, I would have let it slide. But you out of all people, you had no room to say anything. You haven't done anything. So when it comes to criticism, why the fuck you can't be criticized? Like, what have you done where you can't be criticized?
Yo, what's up with all this scary ass music, man? Patrick Beverley, bro. This ain't a fucking drama. Halloween. Ooh, nigga.
Who the fuck said you can't be criticized? Like, you haven't done anything. So until you've done something, yes, you have to be criticized. And you should appreciate it because the criticism isn't coming from a player who hasn't played. It's coming from somebody who's shared the floor with you. I'm with you. You the fastest person to 12,000 points and you the fastest person to 4,000 assists. And you get scored on the most in the NBA. Empty stats, we call them. That's the truth.
Now look, hear me out for a second. Patrick Beverley has a point. I know. But look, if you're making $14 million in the NBA, you gotta be criticized like you're making $14 million in the NBA. And I get it, right? But the fact that this man criticized Trae Young off a tweet saying, damn, relax, let us speak for ourselves. That's all this nigga said, bro. And Patrick Beverley went ham on him. And that's what I think to me is crazy. Patrick Beverley's attacking this nigga unprovoked. Damn, crazy work.
That is the hard truth, bro. Like, that's the truth. And use it as motivation. And it's gonna be motivation because you got on your platform, you said your thing, you popped your shit. I'm glad that you did. Bro. Like, I appreciate that. It make me sense. You got a sense of fire in you, but the truth is the truth, bro. You don't win. And until you start winning, it's when your word can become bigger. If this was anybody else, I'd take it. You know what? KD, you got it. I can't say nothing to you. What I'm gonna say to KD, Brian, you got it. But you on the other hand, nah, you ain't got it. Humble yourself. Embrace the constructive criticism. Get better at that and move the fuck on. We don't have to keep going back like this a motherfucking YouTube debate.
But Patty Bev, you don't win too, nigga, damn. Now listen, Patrick Beverley has the right to say what he wants to say off the rip. But the fact is, this man has won nothing in basketball. So why would you respond like that? That's some crazy work. Patrick Beverley is a cooked man. I can't lie. But he's fun to watch though. It's very entertaining. We need characters like him in the league, for sure. And that's why I think this video on TikTok sums it up perfectly about Patrick Beverley's career. Let's watch this. Patrick Dushaun Beverley, the master baiter. This man is freaking ridiculous. He has a Ph.D. and the D stands for Delusional. That's crazy. But that's what I love about him. This man will score 2 points and act like he just solved world hunger. Damn. But that shows character. He understood his role. He couldn't shoot like KD or dribble like Kyrie, but he was damn sure pest on defense. This man was locking down players one-on-one on ISO plays at 41.9%. That's more than Giannis and Steph. That's crazy. And he's made $80 million in the process. So here's a lesson from Pat Bev to you. Not everyone can be a LeBron. Not everyone is gonna be a CEO. Understand your role. Know what you're good at and lock in on it. And that is the story of the masturbate.
Get up and make it work. Ain't no way that I'm sitting around. It's now or never. I'm picking a fight.
Hey, yo, thank you so much for watching to the end, man. It's road to 1,000 subscribers. We're now at 100. Let's freaking go. I want to prove to my dad that I have friends, bro. So please subscribe. I love you. Take care and stop gooning.